In my last video upload, I installed the Icon Stage 2 front coilover on my 2016 Toyota Tacoma. If you haven't already seen that video, I'll put a link to it in the upper right-hand corner. The install went relatively smooth and very impressed with this product overall, but one thing that I wasn't too crazy about with it is that Icon didn't include the spanner wrench that you need to actually adjust the height of the coilover. So I got it all installed, wasn't able to adjust that until I got the spanner wrench that I needed. It's here now, 2 days later, $30 later, and the height on the vehicle is adjusted. And I wanted to show you how to do that adjustment. Although I would recommend, if you don't have a spanner wrench already and you need one for your Icon setup, I wouldn't buy this product. I'm not too impressed with it. You'll see that it's got a little bend already down here on the bottom, just from adjusting both sides of this brand new suspension setup. So it's a little bit cheap quality. And then at $30 seems kind of like a ripoff. So not impressed with that. I am impressed with the suspension. Really cool how the suspension is completely variable in terms of that ride height. I've got the Bilstein 5100 shock setup on my 2017 4Runner, and with that setup, it's basically got a number of clips and you can adjust between those different settings. With this setup, if you had just a little bit of ride variation between the driver or passenger side, say that you're loaded up a little bit more on one side or the other, you can actually adjust them slightly different and get that level ride. So I think that's kind of cool. And then again, it gives you that variation just in that overall height too, where it's not like, every half inch that you have to choose between. You could choose anything in the middle. So pretty impressed with that. Before we get to showing you how to do that, you will need a jack to lift up the vehicle. Floor jack's gonna make that a whole lot easier. And then obviously a jack stand is a good secondary precaution. Obviously you need the spanner wrench, and then we're also gonna need an Allen wrench for loosening the shock before we adjust it with the spanner wrench. Before you lift up the vehicle, you do wanna take an initial measurement. Just put the tape measure here at the middle of the hub assembly, and we're gonna take it up to the bottom of the wheel well right here. Get that initial measurement on both the passenger and driver side of the vehicle so you can determine how much you want to lift the height of the vehicle. With the vehicle lifted up, the next step is to take an Allen wrench, and right here at the top of the coilover, we're gonna insert it into this little hole here, and we're gonna twist this counterclockwise to loosen that bolt. Now we don't need to remove the bolt entirely, you're just loosening it. And with that loose, now this entire coilover is going to be free to spin either clockwise or counterclockwise. If we spin the coilover clockwise, it's going to increase this dimension at the top here, which effectively raises the height of the vehicle. If you spin it counterclockwise, it's going to decrease this dimension, which will lower the height of the vehicle. This dimension up here at the top, you do want to take a measurement of that at the beginning. This is basically your preload setting, and on the Tacoma, you don't want this to be more than 2.13 inches, or it could damage the shocks and potentially hurt you. So be careful with that. Once we've got this bolt loose, next we're going to take our spanner wrench, and you'll see either on this side or the other side, you can insert those little knobs into the coilover at the top. So you'll see that we've got these little inserts that go around the circumference. And then again, you're just gonna spin the entire setup either clockwise or counterclockwise to raise or lower that. Now, because I've already got the vehicle set at the height that I want it, I'm not gonna make those adjustments. You do have to push on it pretty hard. You'll see with the little bend that I got in here, that's evidence of pushing on it fairly hard to get it to spin. So it's a little bit of a pain in that sense, but it just takes a little bit of effort. Just be patient with it. Don't over crank, and make sure that you've got that little knob inserted all the way. Once you've adjusted it to the height that you want it, again, you're gonna take your Allen wrench. We're gonna insert it into that little hole. We're gonna twist it clockwise. And again, this doesn't need to be super tight. So just get it to where you've got a little bit of resistance. Don't over tighten. And with that, we're good to go. Now, obviously, once you've made those adjustments, you will want to drop the vehicle back down. So we'll pull out our jack stand, lower down the floor jack, and then once again, once the vehicle is resting again, it's not on the jack, you'll take another measurement from the bottom of the wheel well here to the center hub. Do that on both sides of the vehicle. Make sure that they are consistent from the two sides. If not, repeat the steps to adjust as needed. So there you go, that's how to adjust the Icon front coilover. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the section below. To stay up to date on my progress with the lift on the 3rd Gen Tacoma, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.